Hi everyone, and welcome to the Leo Weekly Illumination Reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot and Meaning-Based Spiritual Coaching Services. I am Lauren. Hi and welcome. So this is a slightly different reading than I've done previously due to the fact that I am a new mother and I am trying to change my schedule a little bit to fit in more readings. So this is a slightly condensed version of what I was completing previously. But it doesn't change the fact that each of these readings is meant to engage the Triad of Engagement, which is utilizing the three principles of curiosity, courage, and contemplation to help bring awareness and illumination to some aspect of your unique, authentic internal self that needs a little attention and again illuminated as to how it needs to be uncovered and connect to your external environment to be able to better experience your spiritual purpose. All right, so Leo, I felt called actually to do a slightly different reading for you guys specifically. I'm going to actually focus on the theme of love just because it came up when I was thinking of your energy in general. And when I got this image. Now, I don't always get intuitive hits when I'm shuffling the cards and kind of stepping into the different signs reading. But with you guys, I did. And I saw a brick wall and somebody trying to kind of jump up and try to get over it. And they were being unsuccessful. And there's this element that came through that there's something kind of a barrier between you and love specifically, that there's not this flow of energy going on. So I wanted to look a little bit more into that. Now we're going to start the reading off very similarly to the other weekly readings that I completed, where we're going to pull a Power of Surrender card to tap into the energy of curiosity. And this is where we are going to open ourselves up in a childlike, curious way into taking a look at ourselves as well as our external environment and really bringing curiosity to that place that helps us get curious about what we don't know about ourselves or we don't know about our connection to our external environment and really what we're missing. So what I'm going to do is a card fell out here. We're going to build a question around the message on this card to help you take what is a very general reading and individualize it for yourself, because this is going to be the question that you ask yourself throughout the week to engage with a question that's going to basically that only you can answer, and that is going to provide you with your own personal illumination to some aspect of yourself and perhaps a block relating to love. Now, what I'm going to do is a little different than the other readings is I'm actually going to pull some clarifier cards from my illumination deck here, and we're going to focus on the theme specifically of love. So, when we're thinking of love, this is the card that came out, Leo. We have surrender to the magic of who you are. Such a beautiful card. This message is, I think, really needed. You guys really need to hear this right now. So it says, we all have magic in us. Even in the mundane aspects of life, remember that you are a magical being with a uniqueness and a worth that comes from just being you. And as I'm looking at this image here, there's a woman sitting quietly in this beautiful field of flowers, and there's this horse behind her here. And it almost makes me think of like it's a unicorn. But there's a quality here where it could be a unicorn, but it's not. It's a horse. It's a regular horse. And I think what I'm trying to describe here to you guys is that we all are unicorns disguised as horses, regular horses, if that makes sense. That within each one of us is a true magical, singular potential. There is never going to be another one of us in this world or this existence. When you think about it, there will never be somebody who has your exact physicality in the exact location with your exact perception, with all the things that have led up to this present moment and all the wisdom that you as a spirit, as a singular being have. And I think that that's one thing that's very hard for us to grasp, that we get this feeling sometimes that, well, if I've thought it, a bazillion other people have thought it, or I'm just 1 in a million, or 1 in 8 billion, however many people are on the earth now. And instead, what we have to realize is that there may be 8 billion people in this world. There may be countless individuals throughout the universe, depending on what you believe, but there's still only going to be one of you. And you hold a specific potential in your life to uncover and to live into, and that is your spiritual purpose. So this is kind of that reminder of, even though we may all look like the basic everyday horse to everybody else and they to us, underneath each one of us, we hold that magic. We are the unicorn. We just don't outwardly have the horn, but we can bring that magic out and connect that with our external environment by understanding what makes us unique and singular. So this week, when you are asking yourself a question, the question we're going to build around this card specifically, and we're thinking about the energy of love. So love is a give and take energy. Love is where we have to be open to being able to give it as much as to receive it. And if that is not in balance, then that is where we actually, instead of being supported by the energy of love, can be held back or held down by the energy of love. So we're going to ask ourselves this question of, in what relationship this week, in what relationship currently that you're in, do you feel that your magic is being dimmed? That the relationship to another did not see that magic unicorn horn within yourself, that you tried maybe to show that to somebody else and it wasn't seen. Now, this can be obviously in a romantic partnership or relationship. This could even be in a parent to child relationship or other familial type relationship. This could be in friendship, so that you maybe had a really intimate connection with another individual on a friendship level. Or this could even be in a work environment, your relationship between you and your boss, your relationship between you and another one of your coworkers. And then again, we're taking a look at, where do you feel that your own magic has not been seen, despite your best efforts. And then we're going to build in a second question. So once you've answered that question as to kind of highlighting, okay, where you are connecting in the energy of love to another, and where you perhaps feel like your unique, heroic, unicorn horn self is not being seen by this other person, or is possibly being stifled if you have tried to bring that part of yourself out. The second question then is, what part of yourself do you feel is that magic core of yourself? What part, when you instantly think about a part of yourself being stifled or a part of yourself not being seen, that the magic, what is the magic inside you? Are you a creative soul? Do you like to write, sing, dance? Are you somebody who's an expressive soul? That you love to talk and express yourself verbally or even physically in some way? Are you someone who is deeply emotional and have a healing capability within yourself? Whatever this magical gift, whatever makes you, when you think of surrendering to the magic within yourself, what is your unicorn horn? What is magic for you that is different and makes you an individual from everybody else? Because that's really what you're going to have to tap into. And as you start to see that magic within yourself, you become aware of those that do not honor that, or those that, if you've tried to show it, do not respect it, or where you feel you have to hide that part of yourself. That's going to really indicate where you have a little bit of an imbalance in the energy of love, that perhaps you're giving too much of yourself and not receiving love and support and respect for who you are as an individual. Or possibly that you're not showing it, so you can't receive it. So there's an element here of that's where that brick wall is. There's a brick wall between you being able to get over and show your best self and between you and another. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a animal oracle card for the concept of, or the principle of courage. And this is where we get a chance to step into our own place of empowerment, because we have the ability through courage to control our own actions and therein control our experience. So we can't control the external environment. The external environment is what I like to call the seat of our destiny, because that's where change comes in. That's where the unpredictable comes in, and we can't change that. We can't change that a storm is going to come and, create a flood that ruins our house. We can't change that our company gets bought out by another company and we get laid off. We can't change that a significant person in our life will pass away. Those are things that just happen. But it's how we engage ourselves through free will with that external environment, that external change. It's how we choose to engage with that. That's where we get to control ourselves and our experience. We get to control our perception of the external environment. We get to control where we choose to take action. And that's where courage comes in, because oftentimes it's hard to not only just take action in general, but it's hard to take action on our own behalf or with ourselves in mind. This is where, when we start to really tap into awareness of all the little decisions and actions we choose to take, that we start to realize where we are making decisions that are not keeping ourselves in mind and not in our own best interest. Where we might just be saying yes to things that drain us, or saying yes to things that we're not passionate about, or saying no to things that we really want to do. And again, all these little decisions are what build up to your life experience. So if you're not aware of the little decisions and the little actions you're taking, you're often not aware of you're not engaged with life. Okay, so we're going to see here what you need to keep in mind regarding what you need to focus on and where you choose to take action this week. Oh, I like it. Got two cards. So we have, oh, beautiful. We have Badger Spirit, be fearless and bold, number 4. And we have Otter Spirit, you are never alone, number 42, breaking down to number 6. Right off the bat, when I'm seeing these two numbers specifically, so this breaking down to number 6 and the number 4, when you think about the 6 and the 4 together, they create the number 10, breaking down to the number 1. Now the number 10 is a culmination number. That is a culmination of a cycle, which is why it actually holds the number 1 along with the number 0. There's this component there that both an end and a beginning are together with the 0 point field tied in. So there's this quality here of something coming together in a harmonious way. And I love that it says, be fearless and bold, and you are never alone. So there's this quality here of it's time to step out as your unicorn self. It's time to be fearless and bold and showing that to the world, showing your magic, and not allowing others, by not allowing others who don't recognize that within you or who are choosing not to see it, stop you from understanding your magic and stop you from expressing and utilizing and engaging that with your external environment. Because that's where we get the chance to, as we engage what makes us unique in here with out there, that's where we get to realize our spiritual purpose. That's where we start to tap in to also the energy of love, the energy of love that connects everything, all people, as well as everything that is here on this earth and within the universe, from the smallest cell within ourselves to the greatest star in the sky. So there's this element here of things kind of coming into balance, and to remember that even if you have to give up a relationship or put up a barrier between yourself and another, that you are never alone. There's always going to be somebody out there. If one person doesn't accept your magic or see who you are, there will be somebody else who will. And that's actually what I've learned in my experience, is the more you show yourself for who you are and the magic within you, and the more you utilize that and engage it fearlessly and vulnerably with your external environment, the more you attract others who are basically the puzzle pieces that fit around yours. And that's how we realize our spiritual purpose, because we get to see where our unique puzzle piece fits on the board. So what I'm going to do for you guys is, since we're thinking about the energy of love, I'm going to actually pull some clarifier cards here. So I'm going to pull some cards for Be Fearless and Bold to just bring a little extra. I love this Illumination deck. I don't know why. It's not specific to love in general, but there's something about this deck that I like to use it when I'm doing a reading around love, just because the images are very pretty and harmonious and remind me of what love is like. Okay, we got lots of cards out here, but there are two specifically that stand out. Actually three, because one came out all on its own. So for Be Fearless and Bold, this is very interesting. So in Be Fearless and Bold, this right here denotes quick communication with regards to basically new love and marriage. There's an element here about, this could almost be a proposal, like a quick off the cuff proposal. So there might be some of you guys who either are getting engaged or you've been thinking about it, and this is your message to go ahead and do it. Or the other way that this could be interpreted is to communicate through the energy of love. So when we think about the number 4 here, the number 4 is a number that harnesses foundation building, and foundation building through a strong, steady work ethic. Sorry, I was going to take a sip of water here. And that is mirrored here in the 4 of Wands. The 4 of Wands is a celebratory card for celebrating where you've chose to take action from a place of passion and celebrating that with others. Now, often this card can reflect, something like a marriage because of that. So, but coupled with the Ace of Cups. Now, the Ace of Cups is, I look at this as love renewed. It's a renewal of realization that the gift between you and spirit is this overflowing cup, and this cup is full of your emotional connection. It's realizing that we will never have an empty cup. We always hold our full cup, but sometimes we become unaware of that, and that's when we lose connection to the divine. We lose connection to the sense of being loved, of having emotional fulfillment, and we start to believe that others must come to, we either need to have our cup filled by another, or we're pouring our cup out into others, but not realizing that we have the power through our connection to spirit to fill that cup again, and to come back to not only the love of ourself through the eyes of spirit, but also to love another. So there's this quality here, but with the Eight of Wands is quick communication or quick movement. So there's something here where, depending on one side or the other, when I'm seeing Be Fearless and Bold, and when we're thinking about possibly breaking through a barrier, a brick wall between yourself and another, this might be needing to communicate this, that you love somebody, that you love them, and you want to basically celebrate with them. You want to celebrate something, which most likely is a marriage or a significant partnership, or celebrate this kind of love renewed with them. So I'm trying to see if there's any other messages that are coming through. Really interesting. So I'm going to actually pull some additional cards here, and we're going to see what might have happened for some of you, because this is coming through. So either some of you are in the energy where you want to break through a wall and communicate this to somebody. You want to communicate how much you love them, that you want to marry them, that there's this support that you want to provide to them. But you might feel that there's something preventing you from doing that. Or this could be that you have already done this, and that perhaps this is the person that denied you, that didn't see your potential, and that this actually might be the wall that you can't quite get over. So whatever message is more in tune with you, I'd say take what resonates. But I'm going to see what comes forward with You Are Never Alone. The Four of Pentacles that came out, and then half the deck came out, so we're not going to take those. Let's see, anything else for Leo with regards to You Are Never Alone? Okay. So what came out for You Are Never Alone, number 42, breaking down to number 6, we have the Four of Pentacles and the Two of Pentacles. And what I feel here is that you're holding yourself back. You're holding yourself back by staying busy. So the Four of Pentacles is a card that denotes kind of holding onto your resources. It can be, again, another place to kind of celebrate getting yourself to a place of financial or just tangible security. But there's also this quality here mixed with the Two of Coins. So the Two of Coins is a card of juggling, and I always look at this as kind of juggling the mundane tasks in your life. In addition, it can also mark possibly needing to make a decision between two tasks in your life. So, and again, the tasks may come across as equal, but there is this quality that's coming through right now of wanting to hold on, wanting to kind of hang on to your resources, hang on to what you have. And in doing so, you're just going to, so that you can distract yourself, you're just staying busy. You're kind of juggling, and you're not wanting to make that decision. I think there's a place here, and coming through with this, there's a quality here of wanting this, wanting to be fearless and bold in this kind of communication. But at the same time, holding yourself back from doing what really needs to be done in the practical world. So what this could look like is you want to communicate this beautiful love, or you want this to be communicated to you perhaps. Maybe you're on the other side of this. But let's say this is you. You want to communicate that you love somebody and that you want to share the rest of your life with them. This would look like, okay, you want to say that, but in the physical, you're not making any changes in your life to accommodate that other person coming into it. You don't have the living space. You maybe travel for work and are never home, and yet you're going to sit here and say, well, I want to, let's get married, and I want you to come and live with me, but yet you're never actually there. You're traveling without the person, and so asking them to come there without you being there, come to where you're living without you being there, is kind of unfair. Or let's say you are asking them to join your life, and maybe it's a mixed family environment, and you have children or they have children, and yet you're not willing to maybe merge those households, or you're not willing to let that other person kind of co-parent with you, or vice versa. So there's this element here of wanting to hang on to what is, and then just juggling, going through the mundane. But yet you want to do this. You want to do this, or you want this to come in, but you're not making the physical changes to allow for it. So that's kind of what I feel here is really coming through. Is when you think of You Are Never Alone, There's this element here of wanting to hold yourself back and stay busy in some capacity because you fear that if you do make room for this new relationship or for somebody, that it is maybe not going to happen. Or maybe you did try and it was unsuccessful. Again, maybe this was the person who didn't see your magic and made you feel maybe not so fantastic about yourself. And so you're not really willing to make the change. You're going to hold on to your resources and you're going to just stay busy instead of opening yourself up to the hurt and realizing that maybe it's not a wall you actually want to get over, that perhaps that wall is a barrier that needs to be put up specifically, and it's time for you to walk away. So when we're thinking again about your magic and who you are and what makes you magical and a relationship that is not making you feel magical, this might be where you either have to walk away, or if, let's say, this has been communicated to you, but you're afraid to say yes or to make yourself vulnerable because it's going to mean that you're going to have to change something. It might mean that you have to give up your home to move in with another, or that you might have to, whatever it is, you might have to all of a sudden be living with somebody else's animals when you're not an animal. Whatever. There's a quality here, though, specifically about something in the physical world that you're kind of not wanting to release. So maybe it means that you'd have to give up money or resources in some capacity to say yes to this, to enter into this new partnership with somebody. There's a quality here of you having to decide through the eyes of the magic within you. Is this something that you feel is the relationship that you're trying to break through that wall right now? Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Is that person going to see your magic? I get the feeling, unfortunately, not. So if it's something that is, where you do feel like there's this wall between you and somebody else, I can say that the only way specifically, if you do want it to work, is you're going to have to give up some of your resources. You're going to have to release a little bit to make yourself vulnerable. You're going to have to, I always like to use the word lean into or live into. You're going to have to live into this. You're going to have to live into this commitment if this is what you want. And you're going to have to show yourself for everything that you are. And in doing so, you're going to have to make the kind of scary commitment on some level that might make you a little vulnerable. So there's also this component here of perhaps maybe you are looking to accept a marriage proposal or move in with somebody, or give the marriage proposal and move in. And maybe you have to combine resources. Or maybe you have to give up your job to move there, or vice versa. And that might be a block that one or both of you don't want to make that change, or make that concession, or take that risk. But in order for you to break down that wall, that's what's needing to happen here. So that's, again, these messages are all kind of coming in. Take what resonates with you. The heart of the reading, though, is about remembering your own magic. So keep that in mind throughout the week as you look at through the lens of love for yourself and what part of yourself makes you magic. Look to see how others are recognizing that within you. Okay, so now last but not least, we are going to pull a card for contemplation. And contemplation is a principle that's important because contemplation is where we get to reflect and become aware of the consequences of our actions. So when we think about it, if it allows us to take a look at where we were curious, what we were trying to become aware of, where we decided to take action, and what were the consequences of that action or actions. And this is where we get a chance to continually self-educate, no matter how old we are, through direct life experience. So as we engage with life, we get a chance, this is where we get to, we get to engage through action. Then when a reaction or a consequence comes back in, we get a chance through contemplation to start the triad of engagement all over again. So we get a chance to take a look and reflect on the consequences, to then be curious about what happened, what did we not know, what did we learn, what did we experience, and then perhaps where we need to adjust our future actions to either continue to experience the beneficial consequence or reaction, or to change so that if we experience the negative consequence or reaction, we can try to avoid that again. So this is where we get a chance to prevent ourselves from becoming stagnant. We don't get stuck in a place of a lack of reflection, which then becomes disconnection and a complete lack of self-awareness. And when I say contemplation, I don't mean your 20 minutes of weekly meditation time. I mean, this is active contemplation that should be going on at all times throughout the day to help you become more aware of your actions and how they are engaging and what they are producing in the external environment, and then how they're affecting you, so that you can then, again, change what you can control, which is your own actions and your own perception of yourself and your external environment. Okay, let's see, Leo. Come on, let's get a card here. All right. Ooh. Okay, we have Go the Distance, number 47, breaking down to an 11, and we have A Change in the Wind, number 12, breaking down to a 3. Right off the bat, the numbers are standing out to me again. So the number 47 breaking down to number 11 is, the 11 is for me a number is the spiritual portal. It's also being able to kind of open that gateway between what is and what can be through the eyes of spirit. We have number 12. Number 12 breaking down to a 3. The number 3 for me is a number of divinity. So there's this connection here that a change is coming, but that you have to go the distance. And that might mean being fearless and bold and recognizing that you're never alone. But there's this element here of having to be fearless and bold and to go for it. So if this is proposing to somebody, to go all the way for it. Buy that ring, invest that time, make it happen. Because what you're going to learn in doing that, whether or not it results in the result that you're hoping for, which is the person to say yes. If not, that's going to give you the idea. So if the person says no, that's going to give you a very clear idea as to somebody who's not recognizing your own magic. But if the person says yes, this is really going to, again, break down that wall. But you first have to release a little bit. So if this is investing in the ring, or investing in making space in your home, or investing in possibly having to end one job to move to a new location and have to buy a new home. There's a quality here about having to sacrifice a little bit. Having to sacrifice, having to give a little. Give a little to really express what you want, or to step into this. So it could be, again, that you're on the other side and that you want to step into this. And that it's time for you to realize that you can go the distance. Change is coming. But change is always change is where we get a chance if we choose to engage with it. So again, using our free will to engage with destiny, which is what we see as change. That's where we get the chance to grow and evolve and to learn more about ourselves, to learn more, to actually have the chance to uncover more of that, what makes us a unicorn. But there's this quality here with the number 47 of going the full way, trusting in spirit and understanding that you're opening yourself up to, again, this quality of a spiritual purpose, that you're being able to see through the portal a little bit. And I love that the number 4 and the number 7 are in here, because the number 4, again, is about building a solid foundation. And the number 7 is your connection to spirit. So there's this quality here of building a new foundation through your connection to spirit, but going for it. You know, when you think of a cheetah, cheetahs, even though they are one of the fastest land mammals and they can run at, great speeds, they can only run at great speeds for very short periods of time. So when they commit to running at top speed, they have to be that they're committed. They have to have something within their sights and they go for it. Because if they don't go 100% and they miss their mark, they are unable to then quickly regroup. They have to stop, they have to rest, they have to regain, and to be able to have the momentum to go again. And so there is this quality here of getting ready to meet change head on and to be ready to just go. Again, if you're going to ask that question, go all the way. Don't go halfway. For instance, this could even be if you're going to propose to somebody and you, instead of having the ring and being prepared to saying like, I want you to join my life and I've made space for you. This is kind of like that kind of off the cuff comment of like, let's just, I really love you. Let's like sort of move in together. How does that, what do you think about marriage? Person's like, oh gee, thanks for making me feel so special. So there's this quality here of something like that where it's like, no, you got to go the distance. If you're going to go for it, go for it. Now, if we take this out, and let's say this to me very specifically says communication of love and potential for marriage and something around those lines, or a renewal of love. But this could also be a renewal, let's say even in work. This could be, I really want to start a partnership. I want to build a foundation. I want to, invest in what makes me feel emotional fulfillment. So this could be something about going after a project or going after letting somebody know that you want to go into a work partnership. But you're also not willing to invest any time or money. You're like, yeah, let's go. I think you're great. I've got this fantastic idea. I'm so passionate about it. I love our connection. I love this. Let's build something together. And you're like, but let's just sort of do it. I don't actually want to empty my bank account to put into this and really make it 100%. So there's this quality here of having to commit. Or if you're on the other side and this is happening to you, you have to commit. So if you're going to say yes to a potential offer or yes to a partnership, be it in a friendship or in a work environment or in a romantic partnership, that you have to be willing to commit. You have to be willing to give up a little something of yourself. All right, Leo, you guys get a wonderfully different reading. I just felt compelled. I had to just get in there to give you this reading and focus on love and, again, breaking down that wall. Sometimes we have to realize that there are walls that we are not meant to climb over. When I'm thinking of, what I intuitively got, which is the brick wall and somebody trying to jump over it or jump and grab something and trying to get over it. Sometimes we're not meant to get over those walls. Sometimes they're put up for a reason. It might have been something that was not within our own best interest. And instead of wasting time sitting there, feeling alone, feeling disconnected, it's about remembering you're never alone. And that sometimes all we have to do is turn around and walk away from that wall to remember our own magic, to remember that beautiful field that's actually, so this would almost be like if she had been sitting here and there's a wall behind her that you don't see or a wall in front of her and she's focused on that. And she's focused on the wall instead of getting on the horse and the beautiful field and running free in her own life. Instead, she's so focused on the wall. And I think for you, some of you, that's what it is. There's this element of not wanting to go the distance or feeling that you can't because you're so focused on this point of disconnection. And it's time to walk away from that. It's time to turn around and walk away, or it's time to fully commit in some capacity and see if that actually breaks down the wall instead of you trying to just get up and over it. Because that's kind of what this feels like a little bit. It's almost like keeping busy trying to like jump over the wall or do something that you know isn't really going to effectively get you through the wall, instead of, let's say, taking something like picking up this rock and realizing that you can break through it. So it's kind of that question of, do you really want to get through that wall? Or is it meant for you to turn and walk away? All right, Leo, I hope you've enjoyed this reading. I know it was kind of a little all over the place, but there is this quality here of keeping this very important message in mind this week. And it's going to open you, I think it's also going to open you up to not only where perhaps your relationship either is not honoring you, or where you're not honoring your own self in committing 100% and showing the magic within you to another and connecting, or where there is this other part here of, again, tapping into your own magic and realizing that there's some part of yourself, and seeing what has not been recognized or what has not been received through the energy of love by another, to see where you need to kind of walk away, put up a barrier, but where you need to start to show that part of yourself more. That even though it wasn't received by one person, Spirit is telling you that needs to come out more and more and more, because that is what is going to elevate and show you your unique spiritual purpose. All right. So if you'd like to book a personal tarot reading with me or a one-on-one coaching session, the link to my website is in the description box below. I appreciate all likes and subscribes. However, just being able to have a platform to do readings like this for you guys is my personal emotional fulfillment. So thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate that. Have a wonderful rest of the week, and I look forward to your next reading. Bye, Leo.